Hey there everyone, welcome back to today's video. My name is Cyrus and today we're going to be playing Seed. In this video, we're going to be finishing up our business and buildings tutorial series. In today's video, we will mainly focus on creating our jobs to be posted throughout the society and building the schedule to make sure that your workers stay on task and to make sure that you make enough money so not only can you pay them their wages, but you can still make a profit on top of that. To get things rolling here, we're going to go ahead and open up our business tab. And once that is open, we're going to go ahead and select the employment tab on the left hand side of that menu. When the job editor menu pops up, we then see a whole bunch of different options here of things that we can edit and customize. The very first things that you will see is the job icon and job name. Now, of course, neither one of these particularly matter, but I like to select a job icon related to the type of work my employees are going to be doing. So in this instance, since they are going to be producing and refining metal into iron ingots and iron nails, we're going to go ahead and add the hammer icon here. And then I like to give the job a name that might stick out to the players looking for a job, or something to give them an idea of what they're going to be doing in that role in case they are also looking for something that gives them a specific set of skill experience. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and put metallurgist, as they're someone who is, of course, mining and melting metal and further refining it. After that, you can go ahead and put a description in here, and this is something that players will see if they really want to take a deep dive in on what the job is, and sometimes it's just a little bit of flavor text to really add that extra bit of lore to what your business does and what the role really has going on. Under the description, you can see assignment and then job slots. This is just how many roles you want to create for this specific job in this specific time slot. Then next to it, you can see quick hire. If you have this turned on, then as soon as you post the job, as long as people meet the requirements, they can go ahead and accept the job and get to work with their seedling. Now, if you have this turned off, players will apply to the role, and then you will have to manually go in and approve which seedling gets the job. Now, in my experience, I have always used quick hire, but of course, if you are concerned about a player misusing their role at your business, then you may want to turn off quick hire, but that's really just up to you. As we move down the menu, the next section here is scheduled with daily wage. Now, this is the amount of money that a seedling will be paid per shift. When a player is looking at all the options for jobs, this will appear under it. It will also display what the breakdown is in seed coin per hour. For example, if you create a job that pays 600 seed coin per shift and the shift lasts for 6 hours, then they will also be able to see that the job pays 100 seed coins per hour. Now, under the daily wage, you will also see the days of the week, because you can make it so where someone works maybe a typical Monday through Friday type of job, or you can just make it all 7 days of the week. Now, in my experience, most employers will make it 7 days of the week, but if a society gets to the point where there are a lot of different jobs and people start to really value their free time, then it could end up in a competition of just how much money a seedling can make per hour that still gives them free time to play with their seedling, Or perhaps you may not even need a seedling for all 7 days of the week because you just don't have enough minerals being produced to require that kind of employment time. But after you've decided how much their daily wage is, and if it's going to be a Monday through Friday or just whatever days of the week you want your workers to be there, then you can choose the shift time. Now, do remember that Seed operates on a 24-hour period, so the time goes from 00 to 23, or however you want to see that, from 00 to 24, but it auto just corrects itself again to 00. And also remember that seedlings will perform better in the non-sleeping hours of the day, but as long as you have lighting available inside of a building, there really shouldn't be too much of an impact to the success chance of the tasks assigned to them. And then after that, you'll see that the location is selected automatically. Now, this is something that we cannot change. It's just kind of a reminder of what business branch you are working with. Before we add in our priorities, we're going to actually skip that section for a moment because there is a slight UI bug at this time where if you add too many priorities and then add required skills, the required skills just kind of act all wonky when you're trying to look at that menu. So I recommend that if you are creating a job with a lot of priorities, make sure that you go ahead and add any required skills that you have before you move on to the priorities. And as far as required skills go, this is a good thing to make sure that you research before you create the job, because if you are creating a job for making an advanced resource or product, you may have to have seedlings with a specific skill level to do so. And if that is the case, you would just select which required skill that skill is, and then select the level required of that skill and just click add when you're done. Then when players go to apply for the job, they either won't see it or won't be able to apply for the job unless they meet the skill requirements for it. This can also give an incentive for players to build up certain skills, as they will most likely want to take a job that might pay more for those higher level skills. After you've got your skill requirements set, then you can go ahead and set your priorities here. Now, these priorities are basically the functional tasks that one of your employees will have to perform on the job. A key note with this is kind of like how we set up the metalworking table, where a seedling will start with the top priority and work their way down. And almost every job I create, I add in the same 4 basic tasks. Now, these tasks are extinguish fires, clean, haul, and repair. I have these because extinguishing fires is, pretty self-explanatory. It's a way to prevent further damage to other machines or components, or prevent further injury to the seedlings themselves. Now, seedlings also can get upset if they are in a dirty environment, and they could even possibly perform their tasks in a less successful way, or get injuries if things are unclean. And then hauling is also pretty self-explanatory, I think. If you have this in a seedlings priority list, they'll automatically go and pick up deliveries that are sent to your building, and they will move around the resources as they are produced at the benches to their corresponding inventories, or if a shipment needs to be placed into the outbox and eventually sent off through the spaceport for, selling to the world market or to Seed Industries itself. And then last up here, you can see that I also have a repair at 20% priority. Now this just keeps everything moving, so if you have a bench or a machine that gets down to, in this case, 20%, and you have the resources to make the repair, your seedlings will automatically repair those machines so that production can keep on moving. The next things that you add will, of course, be variable according to your business. But since we are again focusing on the production of iron nails, I'm going to explain how I would set it up. And it should be pretty relatable to almost any industry that you create. You know, you'll just probably tweak a couple things, add a couple more of the same sort of tasks. But the first thing here I will add is run machine and then metalworking bench. Now, of course, you do have the option of instead of choosing run machine, you can choose produce and then a specific item. But your priorities will get pretty clogged up fairly quickly, so it's best to have your machines fully set up with all the tasks that you want on them to complete, and then utilize run machine in the employee's priorities. That way it reduces the chance of you hitting your 20 priority max per schedule. So being that we are operating in the same sort of notion of when we first set up our metalworking bench, and we want to go from the finished product down to the base product, our second priority after the metalworking bench will be run machine again. But this time it will be for the small mineral extractor. And of course, if you do not have a small mineral extractor, instead you may want to select harvest and then hematite if you have a node within your outdoor blocks. After this, I do like to put build as a priority, because if you have nothing else for your seedlings to do, and you have a bench or a table that you want to be placed down, or you have a pending blueprint for your building to be constructed, but you want to prioritize the actual industry part of your business, then in the workers' downtime, they will try to build those things for you. And then lastly, you can give your employees time to address their needs, but of course you can move any and all of this around, or just not even add in some of these things however you please. Now, something else that I like to add at the end is practice skill. And then I make sure there's a book available for a specific skill, so during the downtime your employees can practice a skill to possibly move into a better role into the future. The last thing I would like to add about the priorities list is that since you are only creating a job for a specific time period, if you want to create the same exact job but for a different time slot, you can select at the top of the priorities list, copy, and then paste it when you create the same exact job just at a different time. Now, once we've completely looked over this whole setup and we're comfortable with the way it is, we can go ahead and click save. If there is something that you've forgotten afterwards, and you've already selected save, you can always go back and select the 3 dots in the top right corner of that job to go back and select edit details. Alternatively, if you just want to delete the whole thing and start from scratch, you can do that by selecting those dots as well. After we've created our job, we can just go into the jobs menu and you can search through all of the available jobs to find the one that you've created and see what the post looks like to the public, including how much seed coin a seedling will receive after one whole shift, what the tax charges are, what the gross wage is per life cycle. You can scroll a bit further down to see who the employer is if you only want to work for a specific person, and you can even mark it as a fallback job in case you were to get fired or something like that, and there's another available job during that same time slot. And then, of course, finally, at the very bottom of that list, a player can select apply, which then you would either be notified that someone has applied or someone has filled that role if it is a quick hire position. Now, once you have a player employed, you can go back to the employment tab and see that seedling in that role that you just made, and you can either fire them or further change what those tasks or wage is at that time. But now that we have our employee with a complete schedule, and we have our metalworking bench completely set up with all the tasks required to produce our final product, we can go ahead and set up our repeating auto sell order. Setting this up will mean that we are constantly selling our product, whether this be to Seed Industries or the worldwide player market. And to do so, you'll want to select the building of your business branch and highlight or click on the little 3 dots that pop up in the top right there, and select Manage when that appears. Once this new menu pops up, you're going to want to go to the top right corner just under the X and select Market. When we get here, we want to select New Auto Sell and either select or type in the item that we want to sell. Now, it doesn't matter if you already have the item in the building or not. You can go ahead and type it in to set this up either way. Now, after we've selected the item that we want to sell, we want to also set the number of units we want to sell at once. And then we can select if we want to sell this to all societies or the local society. Now, I will say it doesn't really matter what you select here, but if you're trying to sell it to Seed Industries, it's easiest to just select local market, so you don't have to also go through the delivery function of this. But just keep in mind that when you are selling to Seed Industries, they will buy for whatever price point you set it for, so long as it meets or is lower what their buy price is. So in our case, Seed Industries buys iron nails at 11 seed coins per unit. And then finally, when we are done, we can go ahead and select Setup Auto Sell. Now, you will not be able to edit this at all, but you can create a new listing and delete this listing at any point in time. And then finally, congratulations. You've done it. You've created your building, you created your business and your corresponding branch. You fully set up your benches to create the items that you need and the schedule for an employee to finish out that production cycle. And with these skills, you can apply your knowledge to basically any industry in the game. Now, for those who are wanting to get just a little bit more insight into what you can possibly do with seedlings that pick up a job and their owners never really come back, you can actually go back to the business tab and then under the employment section and finally under the employees tab at the top. And once you're there, you can see a list of all of your employees and what roles in your business branch that they fill. If you do select one of these employees, you can actually click on the skills to see a list of all of the skills and the levels that they're at. And doing this will just kind of give you a bit more of an insight to continually monitor their levels for producing advanced products in the future. Another way to see if an employee can produce an advanced product is going into the bench, any of your production benches in your business, and selecting an item, and then it will tell you in that menu how many qualified employees that you have that basically meet the skill requirement. But yeah, that is essentially it. That's absolutely everything you need to know to run a business outside of the service industry. Now, if you would like to see me cover any additional seed content, please make sure that you place a comment down below and let me know what that is. In the future, I do plan on going over government systems and their corresponding departments and the permissions and roles within those things. But if you liked this video and you want to catch me live, I do stream on Twitch, which you can check out the link for down below. Or if you'd like to join the Great Society of New Iridian that I both play in and run, make sure to also check out the Discord link that I have below as well. Once again, I'd like to just thank you guys and just again let me know in the comments what other things you'd like me to show off and seed, or any questions that you'd like me to cover in the future. But please just like this video, subscribe down below. But until next time, I'm Cyrus, and welcome to the dark side.